so much, Laura. It's such an honor to be here with everyone, including with Senator Nat Tadeo and my House colleagues, Representative Diane Hart, Representative Darrell Campbell, make sure I don't miss anyone else, and Senator Victor Torres is also here with us today. Again, my name is Ana V. Eskamani. I'm proud to serve District 47, the state legislature. But as Laura said, before I ran for office, I worked at Planned Parenthood. And before I worked at Planned Parenthood, I was a Planned Parenthood patient and a Planned Parenthood volunteer. So these stories are very personal for us, and politicians have no place in making decisions about our bodies, about our health, and about our families. And so I just want to stress 4 quick points while I have everyone here today, because today's conversation is really focused on directly impacted people, which really should be the guide of all of our decision making as lawmakers, not politics. And majority of Floridians agree with that. Majority of Floridians have stressed time and time again that access to an abortion should remain between that person, their family, their doctor, and their faith, and not politicians. Folks do not want to see this issue become politicized, and it's so important that we keep politics out of it. And when you ask the bill sponsor on both sides of this chamber why 15 weeks, their response is Mississippi. It's not a response based in medicine or science. It's strictly because this is a direct assault at Roe v. Wade. And even last night during the State Union address, I saw Republican House members tweeting about how they're attacking Roe v. Wade. That is their entire motivation. They're not thinking about the women and the people that they're impacting with these types of extreme policies. And that's my second point that I want to make, is that there's no such thing as a reasonable abortion ban. No matter who tries to tell you that 15 weeks is reasonable, they are either lying or they don't know what they're talking about. And you're going to hear stories today that emphasize that point, that there is no such thing as a reasonable abortion ban, and it is extreme for you to get in between me and my doctor, and even more extreme when you deny exceptions. And not just exceptions on rape and incest, which are already horrific, but we even try to do an exception on the House floor to broaden the scope of the fetal abnormalities, because the way it's defined right now is that majority of folks who do find themselves in a situation where their pregnancy will not have sustained life, they would not qualify for the current exception. So it's so narrow that's going to put a lot of folks who really wanted to become parents or making decisions as mothers in a difficult and tragic position where they might have to leave the state and go to North Carolina as their closest option. I also want to emphasize just the disappointment and the lack of advocacy coming from the business community. And that's not just specific to abortion access, it's also specific to LGBTQ plus rights, voting rights, other types of freedoms that are being attacked this legislative session. I always find it so ironic that these are businesses who want to appeal to women. It's Women's History Month. You're going to see a lot of businesses start doing branding about Women's History Month, just like you see it during Pride Month. And yet they have been silent on these issues. And it's not just about upholding your corporate values, it's also about attracting top talent. There are women who will no longer go to Texas, whether they're going on conferences or even seeking employment because of Senate 8 in Texas. And it's going to be the same thing in Florida, where you will have visitors who choose to spend their money in a state that embraces equality, not strips it away. The last point I want to make is speaking to how this bill is punishing poor people for being poor. It is quite discriminatory. And there's been a lot of language around abortion being bad, being something we should feel shamed about. And I want to stress to the 1 in 4 American women found abortion in this country that you have nothing to be ashamed for, that you are valued, that you are loved, and you deserve to have access to this decision. And when you look at a 15-week abortion ban, there's going to be folks who have the means to still express bodily autonomy with these barriers in place. Now, it's not going to be fair. It's going to be difficult. They're going to have to leave Florida. But if you are a person of means, you will find a way to do that safely. For those who are of low wealth, for our communities of color, for our undocumented folks, for people with disabilities who are more likely to experience sexual assault, for those who don't speak English, and for those minors who are under the age of 18 and have to seek a judicial bypass, maybe not just even in Florida, but in a different state to express bodily autonomy, including those in foster care, you are punishing them for being in those different socioeconomic situations. This is a discriminatory policy, not just against women and those with the uterus, but also against those who fit into these different experiences where their access is already systematically restricted. We should not be making it worse for those Floridians. We should be making it better. And there are so many other policies we could be focused on this session, like the affordable housing crisis, like ensuring clear access to childcare, like ensuring that people have access to contraception. And I'm sure folks saw in the Senate, the last Senate stop, there were members of the community dismissing the effectiveness of contraception. And these are the folks that our Republican lawmakers are taking points from. So we should be very alarmed by this, but we also should have a resolve that we're on the right side of history, that this is unconstitutional, and we're going to do everything we can to lift up the voices of those who are directly impacted and fight like hell to protect not just this constitutional right, but this personal right for every person to make decisions about their family. Thank you.